Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King, and today I'm going to be giving you part 16 of What If Naruto Was Given Abilities by 4 Devils. Remember to get this one to 100 like as usual, share this to all of your friends in your social media platform, and also guys, stay in tune for a new episode over on Anime King 2 and Anime King 3, which I do hope that you guys enjoy each and every one of them. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you for all of your help and your support. Remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new, I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So yeah, without further ado, what do you say we begin this new episode? Start the intro. So, the last time we left off, as Naruto had Sasuke pinned down, defeated after their battle, as the both of them had clashed at the Valley of the End, as he warned Sasuke the last time they fought that when it comes to it he was going to kill him. But before Naruto could kill him, Sasuke arrived, as he stabbed Naruto as he dropped to the ground. The man saw Naruto getting back up as he pumped some chakra into Sasuke, as Sasuke impaled Naruto and pushed him off the rock. As Naruto fell, as he started to drown in the water. We then went back to 2 days ago, when Naruto came back to the village, as he started to introduce the girls to one another in the household. As things was getting rather heated between the Kyuubi and the Nibe, so Naruto had to end up sleeping with Yujito. After that, Naruto went to visit Teiwaya. She was captured in the invasion, as Naruto came there to make her an offer. After talking it over, she accepted. As both him and Sasuke got into a heated argument as the both of them started a fight. Kakashi was the one that came there and stopped them from killing each other, as Naruto promised him the next time they fight, one of them is going to die no matter what, and with that he headed off. Later that night, as Sodeki had sent Kabuto along with Misumi and Yuri after giving them a reborn of sorts, as one of them take on the attribute of fire, the other one take on the attribute of ice. As Kabuto was a clone that was with Orochimaru all along. As Sodeki was Kabuto's real master. The one that Naruto killed was just a clone. The one now was a deformed, strange, snake-like appendage with 3 snakes coming from his back. An upgrade from his master. So with that they came to the village. Sakura went to go and visit Sasuke, as she needed to tell him how she feel, as she needed to talk to Naruto as well, she needed to get the team back together. But Sasuke was leaving as he knocked her out and left. The group was assembled to go and get Sasuke back, and with that they made their way off. As they quickly caught up to them, they were intercepted though, as the group was split, with Choji and Shikamaru taking on Yuri, with Neji and Lee taking on Kabuto, as Naruto for his part quickly made his way and the others take on Misumi. But the battles were not going as they expected, but Snazzy had sent for help, as the Sand team was making their way out there. As they came just in time, as Kankuro made his way to intercept and help Choji and Shikamaru, while the others went on to help the others, while Naruto was hot on Sasuke's trail. So yeah guys, that was basically that's what left off. You guys can switch across to the place and check out for yourself. So what do you say we begin this new episode? At the moment, Kankuro had impaled Yuri, but the man was still standing. Shikamaru was panting on the ground. I guess it's time, said Choji. Choji, you know what will happen if you do that. I know, Shikamaru, but you're almost drained of chakra, and Kankuro-san doesn't have anything that can beat him. I am the only one that can do this, said Choji, as he held on to the pill. Well, don't get yourself killed, Shikamaru said. Choji simply smirked. Wouldn't count on it, he said, as he took the pill. Yuri was ready to attack when he felt it, the chakra spike. As he looked over, Choji slimmed down as a pair of butterfly wings exploded from his back. his hair coming down a long strand in front of his face. "You think this will change anything," said Yuri. Choji vanished in a burst of speed. Yuri coughed up blood as a fist was buried within his stomach. Choji wasn't done there though as Yuri dropped to the ground. He raised his right fist and surrounded the pump it filled with pure chakra. "Time to die," Choji said as he brought down his fist. Boom! A massive explosion ripped through the forest ground by just pure brute force. A crater, or rather large crater, was created. Choji looked down his opponent as he was lying still, completely out. He crawled out of the crater, making his way towards Shikamaru. "Told you I'd take care of it," he said, as he gave his best friend a smile. "As much as I would not like to ruin this touching moment, we got a job we need to finish," said Kankuro. "Where do you think you're going?" a voice said, shocking all of them. To their surprise, Yuri came out of the crater, a massive hole in his stomach. There's several stab wounds from Shikamaru and Kankuro, but yet still the man was still standing. How was that even possible? "Don't you get it, you fools? You've just signed away your life, because I'll make sure that all of you are taken down to hell." Shikamaru felt a build-up of chakra. "We got to get out of here," he said. But Choji collapsed, the effect of the red pill now taking over. Shikamaru ran towards his side. "Don't worry, I have something that can protect us," said Kankuro as he went in front of them. "You're too late, fool," said Yuri, as his body started to be absorbed into a giant snowball with blue cracks spreading all over it. "Feel the effect of my ultimate technique. Frozen Armageddon," he said. As the orb exploded outwards, the thing was felt all over the forest as it took out 10 kilometers of the forest, tearing through trees, rocks, everything that came in its path. As the blast spread out for a long while, trees, rocks, trenches, everything was just torn apart until it finally died down. The only thing that left behind was snow, as snow filled the entire place, ice on the ground, as it was just a makeshift snow park, seeing that all the trees were completely wiped out. Just pure snow, even raining from the sky, as the attack had blasted up into the air. However, your move would be a failure, as a dome of chakra stood around Team 10 and Kankuro. Before Yuri finished his technique, Kankuro pumped almost all of his chakra into the puppet and used a defensive barrier, as it turned into a dome of defense with the amount of chakra that he pumped into it to make sure that they all survived this blast. Kankuro collapsed down to his knees as the barrier fell. Shikamaru looked around. The guy managed to change the climate of this place. That's just insane. Choji was completely out. Well, at least he was okay. It seems like he was just sleeping. He was truly serious about taking us out, and in the end, he killed himself, making us not have the honor to take his life, said Kankuro. As Kankuro decided to seal his puppet away. It was then that Shikamaru noticed Choji's erratic breathing pattern. "We have to get him back quickly, or things might turn out bad." The effects of the pill was having a bad side effect on his body. After all, he took all three of them. Meanwhile, with Shino, Kiba versus Misumi, the both of them were having it rough. Misumi leaped as he fired off a blast of hot molten lava right into the giant two-headed dog chest. It blasted the dog up in the air as he slammed into the earth, the effects of the technique cancelling. As Kiba struggled to get up as he looked over to see Akamaru unconscious. "Why don't I kill the puppy first?" As Misumi fired off a magma ball, only for Kiba to leap over Akamaru as the attack slammed right into him. He cried out in pain. Shino sent out his bugs as he picked himself out of a tree where he was sent rocketing after by Misumi. As his bugs came over and removed the jacket and brought Kiba and Akamaru over, as Kiba had second-degree burns on his arms. "Kiba, what were you thinking? You could have gotten yourself killed," said Shino, as the jacket was nothing but ash at the moment. "I couldn't let him kill Akamaru," Kiba said. "He's been my best friend since I was a kid, and I won't let anyone hurt him," as he cradled the pup in his arms. Clapping could be heard as both of them turned to see Misumi walking over with a dark, twisted smirk on his face. "As a reward for what you have accomplished, to make me use one of my techniques against you, one of my most devastating techniques. I shall give you the honor of experiencing my true power, for you to just realize how futile your attempts were and that you had no chance to win in the beginning. As Misumi started to laugh, the temperature started to go up and up and up. Lava exploded from the ground and surrounded Misumi in a strange lava cocoon. Shino and Kiba felt the temperature still rise as they started to sweat hard, as the cocoon started to crack, orange cracks until it exploded, revealing the full power of Misumi. Both boys started to think about all their regrets, the things that they would have wanted to do if they weren't going to die here right now. Because as it stands, they saw no way they can win this. He was already defeating them in the beginning, and now he's undergone a new transformation that made him even more powerful. Well, for Shino, he was just sad that he wouldn't be able to see A Bug's Life by Disney in Blu-ray, and that he couldn't get laid with a girl wearing a French-made outfit. For Kiba, he was just angry that he didn't have the chance to have a three-way with Kurenai and Hinata. Yeah, that would have been the dream. But now he was going to die here, as Misumi was completely different. Those two had their dreams alright, but Shino's were more realistic after all. That will never happen for Kiba. Misumi was now an orange-red color, his eyes looking like pure fire, as it looked like he was crying nothing but molten lava as it ran down his face. He now had long orange hair with two red horns coming from his forehead like the devil, with his arms now covered in magma. He also had 5 strange red jewels coming from the center of his chest, but there was also something else. There was a long scorpion tail coming from the bottom of his spine and curling up into the air, ready to strike at any moment. Now, marvel at my new power! Shino grabbed Kiba by the jacket and leaped back as he tossed a kunai towards Misumi. As Misumi caught it in his hand, as he smirked. "You think this will defeat me?" he said as the kunai already started to melt. Before he noticed the exploding tag. Boom! The thing went off. As he was completely protected. When the smoke cleared away, he noticed he was the only one there. Ah, so it's a game of cat and mice, huh? Well, don't mind if I do. As he started to slowly make his way. Come out wherever you are. I'm coming for you. Meanwhile, as Shino and Kiba were behind a thick tree, both of them panting, as they made their way a far distance away from Misumi. Lucky for Shino, he had bugs that could survive in the hot temperature and relay information to him. Currently, Misumi was walking around in different directions. He wouldn't be able to find them, and he was moving rather slow. "What can we do, Shino? We can't touch him, because if we do, we'll get burned," said Kiba, as his arm was wrapped in a medical tape that he had brought. As Akumaru was in his lap, Akumaru was still unconscious. "I don't know what we can do, but luckily, the bug I left on him will keep track of him," said Shino. He then felt something off. Misumi was on the move again, and fast. But this didn't make sense. If his senses were telling him right, he was coming from... His eyes widened as he grabbed Kiba. "We have to get to higher ground. He's coming." As the both of them leapt up into the trees, as Misumi came out of the ground, his head popping out. As he smirked, he slammed his fist into the tree as the thing was set ablaze. "You guys are quite fast. However, that won't help you in this fight," Windsight said a voice. As he looked around, wondering where that... It was too late, as a massive gust of wind slammed into him, his body thrown back violently as the tree was out by the pure, unruly wind. "Well, since you guys have the party started, mind if I crash it?" said Temari. Both boys looked at her in confusion. Misumi picked himself back up. "Oh, I don't mind, dear," he said. "Only one more person for me to kill." As he raised his hand and slammed them down. "Magma wave!" he cried out. As lava sprouted from the ground and shot up the sky like a massive tidal wave. Temari swung her fan as she created massive tornadoes of wind that slammed into lava, turned it into rock. As they all looked on in surprise, Temari just managed to use the boy's greatest weakness in lava against him. Seeing the look of confusion on their faces, she spoke up. "One of lava weaknesses, it turns to solid rock upon high contact of strong winds moving at certain speeds. So I just applied that to this situation And the results are what you see here, she said, as she pointed towards the stones. As she then twists and spins her fan. This time, the attack slammed Misumi in his chest as he was picked up and thrown violently. He smashed right into the lake that was over to the other side of the forest. Temari then hopped onto her fan and she applied her wind chakra as she allowed it to fly in the air. As she flew towards Misumi, the water started to bubble as Misumi came out of it, not affected by the cold water at all. "You bitch! Look at what you did to me," he said. As Kiba and Shino came over to see what was going on, Misumi raised his arm. "Magma wave," he said, as he sent the attack right towards Temari. "Wing style, tornado gusts," she cried out. As the lava turned into rock once again, Misumi just sent out more lava, knowing that she couldn't possibly harden it all. But she just kept on swinging that fan of hers, as she realized she was wasting chakra in the sky. She moved back into the forest, with Kiba and Shino following her closely. "Oh no you don't," Misumi said. "Magma, mangrove," as he slammed both hands on the ground. As Temari, Shino and Kiba ran, they were looking to see if Misumi was following them. "Why are you here?" Shino asked, since it was confusing why a sand ninja would be on a Konoha mission. Your Hokage asked for our assistance in this fight. She also said this will help in the peace development that we're trying to build again between each other. But before anything else could be said, a tower of lava went up in the air as it came down. As the group leaped away, hopping from tree branch to tree branch, only for Misumi to break from the ground as he shot his scorpion tail towards Kiba, who was knocked out of the way by Shino, who flipped and landed on another tree. "Looks like you guys still don't know who you're messing with," said Misumi, as he pulled himself up completely. "But I guess I should really show you what you're messing with. After all, it's not all the time you get to play with your food," he said, as he sank back down into the lava in the ground, and he was gone. "Can't you just kill him already? I'm getting tired of this crap," Kiba said, as he had to get Orochimaru to the vet very soon. "Then give me one for your chakra pills. I have a technique that will end this, but I need the extra chakra," Temari said. Kiba reached down into his pouch as he pulled out the chakra pills as he handed to her. She ate the pill rather quickly. She bit her finger as she wiped the blood in her fan, wasting no time as she went through hand signs. Once she finished her last hand sign, Misumi burst out of a lava lake as he aimed towards Temari. "What you're trying to do won't work," he said. Temari smirked as she opened her weapon completely. "That's what you think. Summoning jutsu. Quick beheading technique," she called out. A wind when she swung her fan appeared with a poof of smoke as a weasel that was spinning rapidly came out. As Misumi looked on in shock as a weasel sliced through his head, as the surrounding trees were sliced down as all of them fell down into the magma. Shino and Kiba knew one thing: whenever they got a girlfriend, that would ever make them mad. Meanwhile, as Kabuto was facing off against Neji and Lee, slithering shadow snakes, as he sent two pythons to the boys to swallow them, but a wall of sand blocked the pythons. Kabuto looked on in confusion as the sand wrapped around the snakes and crushed them. As the sand then flew back towards Gaara. "It appears I arrived at the right time," said Gaara, as he brought up his right hand as he called forth the sand as it bent to his well. Kabuto watched as the sand built in front of Gaara and took on the form of an orb. "So I guess the rumors about you are wrong when they said that you can only control the sand from your gort," said Kabuto. "You heard wrong, because I'm able to crush any hard elements surrounding me and crush them into huge densities. So no matter where I go, I will always have sand to use. Now, disappear." "Multi-sandball bullets," said Gaara, as the ball started to fire out smaller sand bullets as Kabuto started to dodge, but they were too much as he was slammed several times. Gaara wasted no time as he brought up a large quantity of sand. "Sand blade," he said, as the sand compressed and turned into a sharp blade that flew. Kabuto tried to outrun it, but it was too fast. It ripped into him. It slammed him into the ground as blood started to leak from his body. Gaara then walked over to Neji and Lee, who looked at him in surprise. "Why are you here, Gaara-san?" said Lee, as he was confused. "It's a matter that your Hokage stated for our country to establish a peace agreement. My team and I were given a mission to help you guys with your missions." As the cork on his gort then popped off as sand came out. "I know that you're faking it," said Gaara. Laughter could be heard as Kabuto's body burst into snakes, and he reformed from it. "I guess I can't beat the great Gaara with foolish tactics, but I guess you already knew that. As he removed the javelin from his back, and he held it in front of him, as electricity flew through the blade, Gaara raised both hands as the sand started to fly up in the air. Lee and Neji watched as he brought his hands together and went through quick hand signs. As he shot his hand forward, Kabuto leaped back over sand and burst on the ground, surprising him as it grabbed onto his right arm. As it squeezed, it crushed his arm. Gaara wasted no time. Sand tower, he said, as a mass of sand surrounded Kabuto. Trap him inside. True, sand burial, said Gaara, as the ball that Kabuto was in was sent sailing up in the air, before it started to drop with so much force. Boom, it slammed into the earth. When everything cleared away, Kabuto was standing there with a missing arm, his right eye completely damaged, with his left shoulder broken. It appears I haven't got used to these powers yet. Well, I'm looking forward to fight you once again, Gaara. Next time you won't be so lucky, he said, as he burst into snakes. As he left the area. So what now? Now we go back to the village. Meanwhile, as Naruto was currently flying on his dragon, the more Naruto flies through the air and getting closer as he could sense Sasuke chakra signature, the more his blood boiled. I'm coming for you, Uchiha, he said. Elsewhere, Sasuke sat on his chair in his zone. After all, he was a leader now since killing Orochimaru. As he smiled to himself, it seemed that the first move is now being made. Excellent. As he placed the blade on his back and stood to his feet, it's time I pay my descendant and future apprentice a visit, he said. As he sunk into his shadow and he was gone without a single trace. Time skip at Konoha, Tsunade was currently at the gate, waiting for the group return. As Naruto girls were there as well, Hinata had her hand over her heart as she was waiting for him to return, and Ken waiting for Lee. As Hinata didn't care if Sasuke didn't come back. In fact, she knew that the only one that cared about him to come back was Sakura. If Hinata could read minds, then she would know how much Sakura was waiting for Sasuke to come back. As Sakura was praying that Sasuke would come back. Please, why would he come back? Don't you remember what he did to you? Inner Sakura said, as even her inner self seemed to have given up on Sasuke. Or perhaps these were her true feelings. If he actually cared about you, he would have brought you along for you to stay at his side. Face it, girl, you're going after someone who's arrogant and selfish, who no one wants to be around. Hell, you had the chance to be with someone that would go to the end of the earth to protect you, but you decided to go for the faggot. Said Inner Sakura, hey, don't say that about Sasuke-kun. If you just try hard enough, you will get to understand that he's a kind person. He's just hard to understand. Oh, and when do we get to see this kind heart of his? When he finally takes your life. When you submit to his will. If he had a kind heart, then you would have accepted the endless love you have for him and returned to you. You had someone that constantly tried to win your affection, but what did you do in return? You belittled him so you can pick up your self-esteem. You bully him when he tried to show you kindness. And the worst part is you laugh at him when he tried to express his feeling to you. You had him, but you let him fall right out of your hands into these other girls' arms. Inner Sakura said. Well, what can I do, Sakura said. Naruto can't stand me, Sasuke-kun is gone, and I have a lot of repenting to do to everyone. Change, because no matter what you do, your idea of bringing your team back together is just a false sense of hope. The truth is nothing you do will bring Team 7 back, so you must forget about the past and work on the future, Inner Sakura said. Sakura looked down. It was kind of weird to be having a monologue with her inner self, but it seems like that voice in her head was just her true feelings trying to come out on the surface. It doesn't matter how much time she denied, her true feelings was trying to break through. As time passed, they felt chakra signatures coming. As Kankuro and Shikamaru was the first one to arrive, carrying a extremely thin Choji, who looked rather pale, with Kiba holding his burn marks, while Temari carrying his puppy back, with Shino as well. Gaara appeared with Neji and Lee, who just had few scratches on their bodies. Then came the last one, and it was Jiraiya, with Naruto on his back. As he looked at Tsunade, they need to talk about something, as Sakura stood there as everyone left. As she realized that Sasuke is not coming. He's not coming. She remembered what Naruto told Sasuke on the roof. The next time we meet, it will be a fight. A winner take all fight because one of us will die. And it will be by the other's hand. The words echoed through her mind as she got from the ground and made her way to the hospital. She needed to know if he truly killed Sasuke. She needed to know if Sasuke was gone. A few hours later, as everyone had gotten treated, Choji was still in medical care, but he's gonna make it through. Naruto was still unconscious, as the group was outside, as they were worried about him. The doors then opened as Tsunade and Shizune came out, as Naruto was wheeled to an empty room so he can get some rest. The medics were quite surprised and confused. There was a large gash going down his chest. It seems like he was stabbed in the heart area, but he was still alive. By all rights he should be dead, but yet he was not, and that was beyond amazing. Tsunade knew that he would survive due to his demonic blood, but what could give him that scar that was not healing? After placing him in the room, Tsunade turned to the retrieval team. What the hell happened out there? Troublesome, said Shikamaru. As Neji stepped forward, we managed to catch up to the traitor, and we were going to bring him back, but we were stopped by Orochimaru's man, and we were separated. As Lee was the next one to speak. These shinobis were very powerful. The three of them took us to our very limit, until the sand shinobis arrived to help us push them back. However, one of them survived. His name is Kabuto, another trader of the leaf. Tsunade and Jiraiya did not understand. After all, they saw Naruto blew that guy's head off. But wait, Naruto killed Kabuto. We saw him do it with our own eyes. Shizune said that she remembered when Naruto used the technique to kill him. So how was he alive? Apparently, he was able to fake his death. He looked rather different from the last time I guess you guys saw him. He looks like Orochimaru now, Lee said. As Tsunade's eyes widened, she knew that Orochimaru wouldn't share his powers with anyone, even his subordinate, that freely. Lee then continued his report. Orochimaru is dead, he said, that shot them. Anko was there. She was overjoyed that her bastard sensei was not where he belonged. The others were quite surprised, the clan heads as well. But who killed him? Did he say who did it? Asked Hiruzen. As he at least wanted to know who took out the most hated man from this village, and his former student. We don't know. He didn't say who did it. Just that Orochimaru was now dead, said Neji. Well then, I want to know what happened to Naruto. Inoichi. About your jutsu, to play the memories of another person. Am I correct? Yes, but he'll have to sort through his memories first, to play it. She nodded as she allowed him to step up to the white-haired boy, who was still unconscious. After going through a few hand signs, he placed his hand on Naruto's head. As a burst of chakra and a scream appeared over Naruto's head. The thing was made purely from chakra, as images start to show off what happened. Flashback, 5 hours ago, as Naruto was smirking as he was going to kill Sasuke. He could feel Sasuke flaring his chakra. He was giving him a beacon to find him, as Naruto was on top of his dragon as the thing was moving fast. Its dragon flew into a large valley where Sasuke's chakra could be felt the strongest. As Naruto saw 2 large statues, one of them Madara Uchiha and another one Senju Hoshirama. The Kyuubi had told him about the fierce battle they held there, and that their power was so potent and destructive. They carved this battle field, and it was later turned into the Valley of the End where the both of them fought. As Naruto saw him, Sasuke was on the head of Madara with a deep smirk on his face, as the dragon lowered itself in front of Sasuke. As Naruto stood there on top of the dragon, just looking at him. What took you so long though? I've been waiting for almost a full hour, said Sasuke. Well, you know how traffic can get when you're in a rush. But that doesn't really matter now, huh? Because it's time that I finally end you, said Naruto. Sasuke released a small laugh as he raised his arms. Do you know why this place is called the Valley of the End? He said. It's because this place is one of the places that hosted one of the greatest shinobi fights in history, and it shall live up to that moniker once again. This place shall be the host of our great battle, and where I will finally put an end to you once and for all. As Sasuke activated Sharingan with 2 tomos spinning in each. As Sasuke raised his arm and created a Chidori as he leaped forward. As Naruto patted the dragon on the head before leaping off, a Rasengan formed in mid-air as he slammed the Rasengan into the Chidori. As the techniques exploded, causing both boys to fly backwards as they landed on the respective head of Senju Hoshirama and Madara Uchiha. The both of them leaped forward as they smashed their fists together, as they clashed in mid-air violently as they fell down to the water, still clashing the entire way. They recoiled on the sudden fall as they ran again towards each other with tremendous speed. Sasuke hopped and sent a kick towards Naruto's head, but Naruto grabbed it and spun Sasuke around and sailed him towards the waterfall. Sasuke spun as he landed on his feet just in time. As Naruto shot forward, Sasuke brought his arm forward, only for Naruto to twist around and smash his fist into Sasuke's nose. Sasuke staggered back as Naruto slammed his fist into his gut, as Sasuke coughed up blood, as Naruto roundhouse kicked him as he smashed right into the wall. Sasuke pulled himself out. He was not about to let himself be outdone like that as he shot forward. As Naruto brought his arm down over Sasuke to twist. As he brought his leg up and slammed it on the Naruto's chin, making Naruto's head recoil up in the sky. He flipped as he brought his foot down to crush Naruto's skull, only for Naruto to look up and grab onto his leg and flip Sasuke over his shoulder as he smashed him down into the water. Sasuke exploded out of the water as he drive his arm forward right towards Naruto's chest. Naruto spin and knocked away his arm before headbutting Sasuke, as Sasuke staggered back and he fell down. As Naruto brought his leg up over Sasuke to jump away, as he speed through hand sign, he released a massive fireball as Naruto jumped away as he slammed into the water, creating smoke over the area. "Come on, dope," Sasuke said. "I know that you're not taking me seriously right now, so what's the point of this fight?" As a smirk came on Naruto's face, before his powers spike, as he started to get infused with the Kyuubi's chakra, as the cloak came around him. "You're right, Uchiha, I'm not taking you seriously, and it would be a shame if I didn't. However, I'm not gonna need my sword to kick your ass, just my two fists." Sasuke smirked as the curse mark started to pump some chakra through him, without activating fully. "You kick my ass? A dope like you can't even put a single scratch on my forehead." As he didn't have his headband, he left it back at the Uchiha compound. As Naruto knew that they weren't fighting as Konoha Shinobi, they were fighting for one thing and one thing only: pride. As he removed his headband and placed it into his pocket, Sasuke looked on in confusion, but he then remembered that Naruto did it last time before they fought. "I take it that you want to fight me as yourself and not a Konoha Shinobi." Naruto cracked his neck. "Like I said, Uchiha, this is a fight between me and you that will resolve everything. No one is here to stop us. Not Kakashi, not Sakura, not Tsunade-chan, no Konoha ninja. This is only something that both of us can settle." And like that, the both of them shot forward, their fists connecting. Outside in the hospital room, everyone had their eyes glued to the screen in front of them, as they felt like they were watching an action movie. Unknowingly, Kakashi had pulled out a bag of popcorn, while Asuma got a bottle of Pepsi. The girls that meet up near the Harem were silently cheering their man on as they watched him fight, as they continued to watch on until something truly spectacular happened. Back to the action. As the fight was brutal and messy, their fists and kicks connecting, creating small ripples in the water as they clashed violently near of them, pulling their punches. As Naruto ducked under one of Sasuke's fists, he smashed his fist into Sasuke's gut. Blood exploded from Sasuke's nose and his mouth as he slammed back into the wall. He picked himself up and cursed. "Come on, Uchi, I'm getting bored. Is this the best you can do?" said Naruto. As Sasuke grind his teeth together like he was mashing iron. "I'll show you, dope," he said. As he ran forward and sent many punches to Naruto, as Naruto dodged each and every one of them before backhanded Sasuke as he crashed into the water surface once again. "Pathetic," said Naruto, as he rushed forward and smashed his heel in Sasuke's face. Sasuke's body was picked up and sent over the waterfall. Sasuke gritted his teeth as he flipped, as he connected one of the surrounding rocks, as he grinded his teeth hard. He then looked up, only to be surprised when a fist smashed into his face, knocking him off the rock as he was sent falling down. But Naruto wasn't going to let him fall alone, as Naruto leaped off. Sasuke turned as he put up his arm to block, but Naruto stomped in his stomach and twisted and smashed his foot in Sasuke's back. Sasuke's body crashed into the rocks below like a meteor as dust filled the area. When it cleared, Naruto saw a log as Sasuke had substituted at the last moment. As Naruto heard a sound behind him, but it was too late as Sasuke came forward and dried his Chidori right into his right arm. As he stepped back with a smirk on his face, "You see, dope, you will always be beneath me, and now you can't even use your arm, and this battle is gonna end very quickly. You think this can stop me?" said Naruto, as steam started to come from his wound. As he started to close up rapidly, blood waves strike as an explosion of chakra slammed into Sasuke as he slammed into the mountainside. "Enough," Sasuke said as he had enough, as he felt the curse mark power intensify and flew through his body. He was going to kill him now. As a tail started to emerge from the cloak around Naruto. "I'm gonna beat you into dust." As Sasuke's Sharingan grew a third Mega Time at that very moment. "I'm gonna kill you, dope," he said. "Well then, come," said Naruto, as Sasuke shot forward. Back outside in the hospital, as everyone was still watching the screen, as Kakashi felt happy how the both of them had become rather strong and developing their ninja career, but at the same time sad, as he knew that he failed as a sensei. As Naruto words, he could still remember them clearly, and he had to make up for everything that he did. As he was watching Minato's student fight, Minato, his own teacher, he would be disappointed to know that his own son hated him. He had to make it up to him. Back to the fight. The sounds of thunder roar above the battlefield as both boys clash. Sharingan versus red slitted eyes, the both of them smashing each other into the mountainside, slamming each other into water, slamming their fists and their feet into each other's face and guts. As Sasuke's body was hurled across the water as his head smashed in the stone. Doesn't matter what you do, Uchiha, you will never beat me, said Naruto. As suddenly, the rock behind Sasuke was burst open by a strange thing coming from his back. Wings. They look like arms and wings at the same time. As Sasuke's entire skin started to turn a darker shade, as he took on the full stage 2 level of the curse mark, as he came out of the wall. I'll be the one to be standing over your dead body, dope. As he stepped forward, Naruto leaned over as 2 more tails came from his back, making a total of 3. The sky darkened as their power was changing the atmosphere, as thunder started to rumble, lightning started to crackle even harder. The both of them simply shot forward with a warrior scream, launching a punch each other's face, as they smashed their fists into each other's face. An explosion of violent chakra rooted from the both of them, as the both of them were sent sailing back. As Sasuke flipping in the air and his wings were keeping him up as he looked behind him. As Naruto flipped and landed before launching himself towards Sasuke in mid-air as the both of them clashed, kicking and punching each other. As the both of them smashed their fists, an eruption of chakra went off, blowing away water, crumbling rocks as they shook the surrounding area violently. As both boys landed back in the water as Naruto growled at Sasuke. As Sasuke landed, as he grabbed onto his left hand, it was covered in burned blisters, but that wasn't anything as he got back to his feet. As Sasuke leaped up in the air, fire style, as he took in a deep breath, mustering a large amount of chakra, fireball jutsu, as he released a massive, potent fireball straight towards Naruto. The thing was large, the biggest fireball he ever created, and it was flying towards Naruto at tremendous speeds, breaknecking speeds. As Naruto simply roared, Sasuke watched in utter shock as the fireball was blown away. As Naruto lashed out and grabbed onto his leg with one of the chakra arms and yanked Sasuke forward. Sasuke's eyes went wide as Naruto buried his fist into Sasuke's gut. Blood exploded from his nose as he was sent sailing. He broke through the mountainside this time as the sharp rocks pierced into his skin a bit as he cried as Naruto yanked him out, raising him up high in the air with the chakra arm and smashed him back in the valley stone. As Naruto's chakra claw ripped Sasuke in the leg as he cried out in pain only to look up to see Naruto, his foot pulled back. Boom! The kick slammed into his chest. As he was sent sailing forward, Naruto appeared on top of the water above him and sliced him across the chest. As it ripped into his skin, as Naruto slammed his heel in Sasuke's head, sending the boy's body sailing, as he rolled and smashed into the wall once again. As Sasuke was panting hard, as his vision was getting blurry and blurrier. As Naruto felt his arm going a bit numb, as he knew that it was time to end this, Sasuke held out his arm as he created a Shidori, as the Shidori turned blue, and then into black, as black lightning crackled everywhere. As Naruto knew that he was reaching a limit on the Kyuubi's chakra, as he could feel his arm going numb, as he brought out Devil Bringer, as he changed the power type, as he created a solar flare Rasengan, as he pumped as much chakra as possible, as it turned into a beautiful crimson with a golden surface around it, as the arm sounded like it was screaming, howling like a wolf and yet at the same time growling like a demonic animal. Shidori, Sasuke said as he leaped forward. Rasengan, said Naruto, as both of them smashed their attack together, a massive dome surrounding them, their pure power resonating through the entire place. Even the waterfall was cut off. As the both of them were in the dome, their body racked with pain, as the both of them pulled back their fists. Boom! Back in the hospital, as Sakura felt sad, knowing that she would very well see the death of Sasuke right here and now. After all, he didn't come back with Naruto, so it must means... Why? Why do they have to fight? You still don't get it. They have always been enemies. You just always try to find a way to upturn things. They have never liked each other before. But why, Soccer said? I just wish that they could be friends. It doesn't matter what you wish. They would never change. And no matter what you say, they won't become friends. Naruto and Sasuke would always fight with each other and separate themselves from each other. They were ticking time bombs waiting to explode, and while you try to defuse them, you'd only get caught up in the explosion. Inner Soccer said, as that was her rational side. Soccer lowered her head as she stopped talking to herself. She knew that her inner self was right. Maybe it was time that she gave up on this. She thought to herself as she continued to watch the fight. Back to the action. Naruto was on top of the water, holding on to his right arm that was in no severe pain after what he just did, as his right arm was completely numb. If it wasn't for the Devil Bringer, he wouldn't be able to move it. Sasuke got to his feet as his legs were shaking. Would you be needing my help, Sasuke-kun? Victory is in your palm right now. You can achieve it. The snake told him, the one that helped him earlier. How can you help me, said Sasuke. I can feel it in my body. He's exhausted from that. I don't think I can beat him now, Sasuke said, as he knew that his power was spent from the last technique. Oh, don't worry. I shall give you my power, and you shall be able to slay that brat. As Sasuke screamed, as he felt something strange, Naruto watched Sasuke enter the second form again, as he felt that he was out of chakra. As Sasuke aura changed into dark purple chakra, as Naruto watched Sasuke's eyes change, they were like Orochimaru's, with the purple marking over it, with the golden slits. As Sasuke grabbed his shoulder in pain, as a strange white substance came out of his shoulder, as it turned into a giant snake. As Sasuke started to laugh, the laughter turned different, completely changed. I finally did it. I have the Sharingan, Sasuke said in a completely different voice. Orochimaru, said Naruto. He remembered that voice. Sasuke turned his head. Hello, Naruto-kun. How have you been since we last met? Orochimaru said, with a small chuckle. I've been fine until you showed up. Speaking of which, how are you even here? I thought you were dead, said Naruto. It's quite simple actually. I knew, in the case if I die before I achieved Sasuke-kun, I had to put up a precaution just in case. Therefore, I embedded a piece of my soul into the curse mark that will emerge in Sasuke after my death. When my body was destroyed, my soul reappeared in Sasuke-kun, and now I'm here to take all my prize. I'm afraid I can't let you do that, said Naruto, as he summoned the Kyuubi blade and gripped onto the hilt tightly. And how do you plan to stop me? Orochimaru said as the snakes that he created around him were screeching ready to attack. You're all out of chakra, and this battle won't last longer. I'm afraid this time it will be your end, Naruto-kun. You should know why the Kyuubi is the strongest, said Naruto, as he summoned the Kyuubi in his celestial form, but this was the largest that he ever summoned before. The Kyuubi held out his right hand as a sword appeared surrounded in fire, as it mimicked Naruto movements. As Orochimaru sent his snakes to attack Naruto, but with one swipe, they were all burned into nothingness. As Orochimaru stood tall in the last snakes that remained, as the snake opened its mouth and inside the mouth, the tongue was Orochimaru. The Orochimaru came out as his Kusanagi blade was in his hand as he regurgitated. It looks like only I can kill you now, Naruto, since Sasuke-kun is too weak right now to do it himself. But the Kyuubi flame blade stabbed Orochimaru as Naruto smirked. Alright, Orochimaru, I think you'll be going now. Orochimaru laughed. Do you think you'll be that easy to kill me? You pathetic, naive... He paused. Something was wrong. As the red chakra started surrounding his body, him alone, Sasuke was unaffected by the technique. You see, said Naruto with a smirk. I knew all along that you were inside of Sasuke. The Kyuubi had informed me that he felt your sinister presence every time Sasuke released that curse mark. That is the reason why I've been holding back the entire time. I did this so Sasuke would be pushed to his limit, so that he can use up all of his chakra, so that you will show your ugly face. Now be gone, said Naruto. As the Kyuubi twisted his blade, the red chakra turned to flames. Orochimaru screamed and cried out in pain. What are you doing to me? He said, as his flame was unnatural. The Kyuubi told me of his blade called the Eternal Blaze, which was given to him by the gods that have the ability to slay all form of evil with a stroke of their blades. But there's one technique that separates this from the others. and that is his technique called the Grand Repentance. The effect happened the moment it's embedded into something, and at the moment that something is you, Orochimaru screamed at the ungodly pain that he was felt in. Well, that is a technique right there. It will burn your soul into nothingness and remove all stain of you, including your curse mark from Sasuke. So it looks like this will be the last time we'll be seeing each other, Orochimaru. And while I wish Uncle was here to see this, at least you will be dead. So I will no longer delay your trip as we now part ways. Farewell. As Orochimaru combusts into pure flame, his literal soul being burned away as it exploded out, leaving nothing behind. Ridding the world of Orochimaru, the snake sounding once and for all. As Naruto dismissed the Kyuubi, as his body feel the effects of bringing out the fox in his celestial form. As for Sasuke, with his curse mark now removed, he couldn't do anything as he was worthless beyond doubt. It's time we finish his Uchiha. As Naruto created one more Rasengan, Sasuke coughed up blood. It didn't matter anymore. He will kill Naruto as he pumped his remaining chakra into a Chidori. He slowly, weakly got to his feet, using the wall to prop himself up. Let's, he said. As the both of them moved forward, despite their body protests as they slam Rasengan Chidori together. As the both of them stood in a white, empty plain. So Uchiha, I take it you're spent, huh? So are you, dope. However, I don't plan on losing anytime soon. You still don't get it, do you, Uchiha? Said Naruto. I told you this was only going to be something that only one of us can survive from. All of the participants in the hospital room was watching with complete shock as they watched Naruto kill Orochimaru that had been living inside Sasuke to take over his body. There was only one thought that ran through everyone's mind. Well, damn. Back to the action. Sasuke was currently lying on the ground after their last technique as Naruto was over to the water, but he lifted himself up in a sitting position as he got to his feet. He made his way towards the downed Sasuke. I told you that I'd win, didn't I, Uchiha, he said, as he summoned rebellion and raised his hand up in the air as he was going to take his head right off right now. But before he could do anything, a blade shoved through his back and burst through his stomach. As Naruto coughed up blood to see Kazuma Sodiki, the man that he fought on Devil Island months ago. The man said nothing as he drove the blade deeper as Naruto gripped on rebellion loose as he fell to the ground. Sodiki ripped the blade out as Naruto fell face first. Blood pooled out of his body. You did well, my descendant. However, I still need Uchiha, so I can't let you interfere. Sodiki made his way towards the downed Sasuke. What took you so long? As Sodiki placed a hand on Sasuke's shoulder, giving him some chakra that he could walk. And Sasuke got to his feet. Do not worry about my timing, just be prepared for what is in store for your future, said Sodiki. Sodiki then heard something as he turned to see Naruto getting off the ground. You bastard! What are you doing here? Said Naruto, as his body was racked with pain. It appears that once more I underestimated you. However, why I'm here, it's simple. I can't allow you to kill Sasuke. You see, I need him. Sasuke rushed past Sodiki and slammed a Chidori right into Naruto. Naruto could only stare at the hand that went through his stomach and came through his back. Sasuke ripped his arm out as Naruto staggered back. You will be dead before you see what I've become, Sasuke said, the arrogant smirk. As Naruto stood the same way, Sasuke was a bit unnerved that he was still standing until Sodiki came over and picked up rebellion as he drove it through Naruto. You're strong, but not that strong, Sodiki said, as he tapped Naruto in the forehead. As Naruto fell into the water, the last thing he saw was the smirking face of Sasuke and Sodiki. As Naruto collapsed into the water, damn it, he cursed. As he was dying, he could feel it. He did not notice rebellion pulsing or the hand coming towards him. Naruto opened his eyes in an unknown area. Did he die? As he looked around, as he was in nothing but a wide, plain area. Huh, he really died. As he just lied there. What? Giving up already, he heard a voice. A voice that was all too familiar as he looked up. But guys, be ends episode right here. If you want to see the next part of something to do, like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends and social media platform. And also stay in tune for the rest of what is coming your way. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. So yeah, without further ado, I'm out for now. See you guys soon. Peace.